Well, hello you bearded bastards, and welcome back once again to Shistenal Beral Fur, Fangmountain, the Bastion of Beasts. And I am sincerely hoping we're not about to witness its final moments. Because you may remember, just last episode we were assaulted by a Zekrim gun, a flying forgotten beast with deadly dust, and it is currently on its way up the stairway that leads into our fortress, so we do not have very much time to do anything really. And as a last desperate measure, we have a couple of animal trainers in here trying to train our jabberers with some combat skills, just really hoping they can accomplish that in time. I had just ordered all of our civilian dwarves to go to the meeting hall. We have plenty of food and drinks in there, and it is far enough away from the beast. Remember that we did successfully escape from one beast by hiding in here, and then kinda sneaking out behind it. A surprising tactic, and one we might have to employ again if things go badly. But we'll see what happens. I just unpaused the game and all the civilians are rushing to the meeting hall right now. Let's go, dwarves. Having a look over here in the jabberer room, we can see one of the jabberers is war trained, and two of them, fantastic. And now that we have a couple of trained jabberers, I'm going to try to get them down here, flanking either side of this passage. Just really hoping we can accomplish that in time. If we look up here to the trade depot, you can see an awful, terrible mess. It looks like Zekrim has encountered the elves that were currently trading with us. Remember that those bastards were just complaining at us for cutting down too many trees underground. Well, you know, that's kind of what you get. But damn it, we're completely out of time here. It looks like the creature has moved down and is fighting one of our dwarves who was trying to pasture a war jabberer. Yeah, it's not going good. Not at all. Ooh, that's quite bad, actually. Although, I mean, the beast is really handing it to that jabberer, but the jabberer is still fighting back, which is kind of what I was hoping for. You can see that even though the jabberer was being ripped to shreds, it bit the forgotten beast, tearing the fat in its foot, and it also managed to get another bite in on its leg, tearing the muscle and causing the beast to fall over, bit it in its foot once again, bit it in its neck, snatched it in the tongue. Yeah, it managed to get quite a few hits in, and has taken one hell of a beating as well. That's actually very impressive. And you know, actually moving down towards the bottom of the combat here, it looks like the jabberer is doing more and more damage as time goes on. Hey, hang in there, you bastard. Oh, and here comes the second one being pulled along by this brave, foolish dwarf. And combat begins. Dust everywhere. The beast is fighting, following the jabberer slowly, who appears to be running in terror. Alright, well, I guess the second one here is a bit of a coward. Not good. Not good at all. Does not bode well for us. Now following Zekrim, who's kind of just laying on the ground here, fairly badly wounded, thankfully, and is now moving down towards the south. Yeah, I think it's trying to get the door off the hinges down here. That'll give us some time. The second cowardly jabberer is rotting over this way here, very badly because of that dust. Oh yeah, look at that, not good. The poor thing is completely swollen with blood or rotting. Some of that dust, not good news at all. Fighting this beast is a death sentence, even if we do kill it. That's why I didn't want to send in all the jabberers. But, I don't know, we might not have any choice at this point. We still have 2 males, and I think I'm going to train them as war animals. And what the hell, we have 2 jaguars as well. Females. We might as well use them too. They've just been sitting around for years. Again, just really hoping we can do all this in time. The dwarves are getting right to work. And Zekrim is extremely busy down this way here. Yeah, this might work out just fine for us. Looks like both the jabberers are war trained now, and we're working on the jaguar. Zekrim is still down here working on these slabs, which it is now plowing its way through very swiftly. Not good. Back up in the animal training room. All those animals are trained now, although now it's extremely hard to tell which ones are jabberers and which ones are jaguars from a glance. Going to set up another pasture right here in this hallway, and I'm going to assign all 4 of those animals to the pasture. Let's get to it, dwarves. Please hurry. Please. Alright, we have some dwarves on their way. Too slow, though. Come on. Oh, but, looks like Zekrim just went upstairs in the residential quarter of the fortress, and is ripping apart what was once Rumble's quarters. That is one unlucky dwarf. Looks like the bobcat really has it out for her, even after her death. Well, that gives us some more time at least. Looking down here, it looks like the jabberers and the jaguars are in place now, and so now all we can do is wait, and hope that this damn pterodactyl eventually comes down. We'll just give it a moment here. Also, have to remember that we have dwarves in cages down here. That's not a good situation for them, at all. If we don't get down there quickly, then these dwarves are goners. They haven't had food or water for quite some time now. Oh, back down on the main level, looks like Zekrim has found its way back down here and is headed towards the meeting hall. That was actually a very close shave. Almost missed it. Alright, here it comes. It's moving past the war animals, who are now panicking. Not great. Dust all over the place. Also not splendid. Yeah, it looks like... I don't know where the hell our animals went. There is just one jabberer here right now, and it's extremely wounded, bleeding all over the place. Yeah, and unfortunately, I don't think the poor thing stands a chance at all. Speeding things up here. Here comes a war jaguar. And yeah, it's died as well. Oh, and it looks like Zekrim is coming back and is down in the workshop level. Destroying workshops, of course. The bastard. Super dumb. Well, while it's down there, I suppose we could take advantage of this time. As long as you dwarves move quickly, that is. Because there is one surefire way I've found that really just works very well with these forgotten beasts. And that would be... Oh, that didn't work at all. Huh, okay. Maybe not so surefire after all. Ugh. Unless we just got a little bit unlucky that time. Let's find out. Swiftly now, dwarves, swiftly. Oh, stop freaking out. Oh, okay, that didn't work. That did not work at all. Okay, dwarves, let's get out of the meeting hall and just cram ourselves in this back room right here. Very quickly. Please go quickly. There we go. Cram yourselves in there. Oh, this is so bad right now. Bunch of dwarves dying. And it looks like Zekrim has pretty much free range of the fortress. Just rampaging around the place now. Not good. Not good at all. Right, well, it appears to be up here in the residential area once more. Oh, but it's going downstairs. Workshop area. Yeah, it's moving around all over the place. Not good. Gonna make it very difficult to crush this thing if that's what we were thinking to do. And it is what I'm thinking to do. Just a moment though, because I have a little plan. I think we could still smash this creature. Just gonna have to hope that one of our intrepid miners can get to work swiftly here. And that doesn't seem to be the case. Come on, you guys. Everyone's panicking because of the bodies all over the place. Yeah, I know it's jarring, but unless you want to see a lot more corpses, you better get to work. Yeah, Zekrim is still upstairs, just going room to room, ripping doors off hinges. It's going to be very difficult to crush this one, but we have to at least try. Alright, looks like it moved again. It's in this bedroom now, and the door locked behind it, so that'll give us a little bit of time to work with. But it looks like this ghost just spooked our miner. Not good, not helpful. Get the hell out of here, will ya? Zekrim is still in that room, not too sure what it's doing. Oh, it looks to be destroying this bed, actually. The bed has taken quite a bit of damage. Keep it up, miners. Almost there. Zekrim, just hang tight, you big bastard. I would also like to point out that this creature is quite a few levels down in our residential area. There are 1, 2, 3 levels above it, and then above that is where that stone is going to be dropped from. Now, I believe stone can crush through floors. Let's see if that is the case. Here we go. Boom, there we go. Oh yeah, look at that. Fantastic. That piece of stone was connected to the surface, and so now we have a hole punched from the surface here all the way down through our workshop area and down into our wood stockpile. And once again, it looks like our forgotten beast problem has been successfully dealt with. Thank the bobcat. Bobcat, you know, you've done us very few favors, I'll admit. But man, oh man, we do have some stories to tell. And to a dwarf, nothing could be better than that. I'll tell you. We're legendary here at Fangmountain, and because of that, even if we do fall, we will still live forever. But what a goddamn mess. What a mess. The fortress is in shambles right now. That's terrible. Well, we had 150-something dwarves right before that beast showed up, but we also just got a migrant wave, so all the dwarves we lost were already replaced. Not to say that any one of the ones that we lost wasn't an important member of our fortress, but at least we didn't lose any of our labor force. A labor force that is getting straight to work trying to get Fangmountain back into a working order, and I think it's going to take a bit of doing. Corpses all over the place once more. A real shame. We have to get those dealt with, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I've come up with this little technique here. I don't know if it's a good one, probably not, but it's been working for us, where we kind of dig out a room like this here, and then when it's all dug out, we just kind of cram all the corpses and detritus in there, and then seal it up afterwards. And if we have any civilians in there, then we just make memorial slabs for them. it seems to sort things out pretty quickly. You know, you just carve out the room wherever we have a bunch of dead bodies, just to make hauling that much easier. And as long as you're quick making those slabs, then there's not a real ghost problem. Yeah, it's just the way the dwarves of Fangmountain do things, I guess. And another thing we have to do is build those dwarf cages here in this hallway. The dwarves who were caught in that cage trap down below. And after the cages are built, we can link up this lever to them and then just pull that to release them. I'm not sure if there's an easier way to do it. This is the only way I can see to do it. And hopefully it doesn't take too long. I think a couple of those dwarves down there have died already, but they may have gotten dust on them beforehand. And then just, you know, rotted to death, which is terrible. Whoa. That's something right there. After a polite discussion with local rivals, Doran Shoot Trusted has claimed the position of king of the scraped gold. That really is something right there. Super surprising, too. Doran Shoot Trusted, I don't even know who that is. Let's have a look at this dwarf. Oh yes, here he is. Currently retching and vomiting all over the place. He's our longtime bookkeeper, and so it's actually pretty good to see him elevated to the position. Doran is one of the dwarves who arrived after the first fall of Fangmountain, and he's been here for about 4 years now, so he knows what's going on. And now we have to address our jabberer situation. That first one that went in and fought with that pterodactyl did pretty well, I'd say. I didn't think it'd be able to get any hits in, but it did. And so, you know, that kind of boosted my hopes a bit. But all the other war jabberers were running in fear the entire time. And, I mean, that makes them pretty much useless. I think the only way we could ever actually use jabberers to defend ourselves is if we had, like, a lot of them. A real lot of them. I'm thinking like 30, and then we have to get them all grouped up somewhere and force enemies to kind of walk through the group. And even then, I feel like a large number of them would run around panicking. It's kind of frustrating. And it seems to be taking a long time for us to be getting any more of them. Super frustrating. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of sick of just waiting around for these things. If we try to just keep waiting for there to be a whole bunch of jabberers, then this series is going to end up being 30 episodes long, so I think I'm just going to cut forward a whole bunch here. I'm just going to stop the chatter, and we're going to focus. Just get to work here in the fortress, doing what we have to do, cleaning the place up, and, you know, I think I'm actually going to probably lock off the tunnels, or at least make them a bit more secure for now. The constant interruptions certainly aren't helping matters. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to end up doing. Gonna secure the caverns, possibly block ourselves away from the surface, reset that gremlin trap, and then we wait. And hopefully when I get back to you, we'll have quite a few more jabberers. Really hoping. Okay, and we have returned, finally. And let me tell you, that was probably one of the biggest time jumps I've ever done making these videos. When we had last left off, it was springtime in 267. And right now, it's the 23rd of Opal, 271, midwinter. So yeah, almost 5 years. And let me tell you, a whole bunch of things have happened in these past 5 years. And I am extremely excited to show you around the new Fangmountain. So let's get straight to it. Well, first off, I will note that we now have a queen. Her name is Bim. King Doran did pretty well for a few years, but he started requesting that we make gauntlets. And we don't really have much access to metal here in the fortress. Well, we do, but like, I don't know, it kind of got to be a pain in the butt. And so we weren't doing what he was asking, and he started throwing tantrums, and he beat a couple of dwarves, including Grizzle, who I thought he had actually killed at first. I'm glad he did not. But he did break quite a few of her ribs, and even punctured one of her lungs. But again, she's fine. Anyways, after that, we locked him in his bedroom, and he ended up dying. And now we have a queen, Queen Bim, who's doing pretty alright. You can see she's outside right now cleaning up some vomit. There is an awful lot out there. But yeah, Queen Bim. May her reign be long and not end with dehydration or starvation. Moving on. Actually, moving back out to our mural here, I forgot to mention that If you look around the outsides, you can see those memorial slabs. They are all engraved to dwarves who have fallen here in the fortress. And at this point, we have gone around the entire perimeter of this room, which I did not think we'd be able to accomplish. And, well, you know, I hate to say I'm proud of it, but I don't know, it's kind of cool, I guess, in a depressing sort of way. What a legendary fortress. Next up, we head to the surface, where we can see our front gates. Not much has changed out here, really. Although I will note that we have not seen the goblins a single time ever in the history of this fortress. And I know they can reach us. I don't know why they haven't attacked, though. It doesn't really make a load of sense. But I am very thankful for it because it allowed us to get much, much farther in that downtime there. No interruptions, you know. Anywho, if you look down to the south here, you can see these two pen trap things that I just kind of brushed over briefly last episode. Yeah, remember we carved out a couple of tunnels down to the caverns and I was going to attempt to try to catch forgotten beasts in them, but that never ended up coming to pass. And instead, you remember those blind cave ogres in the first episode of Fangmountain? I think we caught 5 of them, males and females. Well, I put them all in this pen over here and I figured we could just drop these bridges whenever invaders came. And, well, as I said, invaders never ended up coming. And as such, the ogres have started to breed. Quite a bit, actually. There are 21 ogres in there right now. Mostly children. But they did start off as babies, which is kind of adorable in a terrifying sort of way. They would just kind of, plop out of the mother and then crawl around the place for a year or so, and then they turn into children. And apparently they stay as children here for 10 years. So even at this point, we have quite a ways to go before these things mature. Oh, that's actually really strange right there. It just became springtime, and I believe that caused a couple of the blind ogres to die from old age. Their lightless saga continues. Well, good day, ogres. Moving on, and checking in on a couple of our notable dwarves. Here we can see Ton, Bear Hug, who is doing extremely well. Completely stress-free and just kind of chillin'. Really, there's nothing new with him at all. No new friends, no new enemies, just kind of stable, which I like. Keep rockin', buddy. And then up here in our farm, you can see Grizzle, who has actually become one of our best farmers, believe it or not. You can see here she's flashing red, and that's because of her injuries that our former king gave her. She actually had one of her lungs sutured and now has trouble breathing, but overall she seems to be doing pretty fine. Also, as a testament to how much time actually passes in these forts, we can see that she is now 21 years old, and she was 11 during the first fall of Fangmountain. So it's been 10 years? That's pretty wild. Well, Grizzle, keep hanging in there, and I hope you're still doing well in another 10 years. Moving on once more, and getting straight into the good stuff, here we can see our meeting hall, and its layout hasn't really changed that much, but if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that it is now surrounded by fortifications in the walls, allowing our dwarves a visual access to these pens in which we've collected a great number of beasts. Well, they did at one point anyways. Here. Down to the south, we can see this large pen here, and I'm starting to realize that it's really more about the journey than it is getting to our destination when it comes to these projects. Because this troglodyte pen here, well, it's been through a lot, as you might be able to tell by all the troglodyte corpses. If we move up a little bit, you can see this tube that we were throwing troglodytes down through, attempting to get them into the pen without harm. And that did work, but the dwarves out in the meeting hall were absolutely losing their stuff. Just running around panicking because they saw a troglodyte running around out in this pen. Yeah, they didn't really like that at all. And it ended up that we had to just, build this little back door here. And we put a bunch of restraints out in this pen. And then just attach the troglodytes to those restraints. Which seemed to work. It seemed to work. The dwarves, they weren't freaking out as much. And it's a shame too, because I really decked out this pen here. They got a couple of little caves in the back, as well as this pool of water, and I even threw some toys in there to keep them entertained. But they ended up all being restrained, so it didn't matter. Ooh, caveat time. Apparently, some of the restrained troglodytes were too close to one another. The male and female troglodytes, to be exact. And so babies started just kind of popping up all over in this pen, and then they started crawling around, and people started freaking out. And on top of that, a couple of the troglodytes in there were fairly unstable, like freaking out or being depressed. One of them started going berserk and killed all the surrounding troglodytes that I could reach, and then somehow got off its restraint and continued its killing spree. There was stink coming out of the pen. Oh right, and then a human diplomat came, and his guard started shooting arrows through the fortifications. It was a mess. And as you can see at this point, it's now just kind of littered with corpses, and there's only one adult troglodyte in there now, a female, and there's also her baby. who's crawling around. And for whatever reason, the dwarves out there aren't freaking out over this baby. I don't know why. Whatever. I'm kind of done messing with this pen here. And I will note too that the baby keeps going down into this water here. I don't know what it's doing, but it just seems to like throwing itself down into the water. It's not drowning or anything, but like I can't imagine it's enjoying the process. Like the little bastard actually falls into the water and slams into the floor below and becomes stunned briefly. But like it's done that a lot, like a real lot. You'd think you would learn, but I mean, it is a baby after all. And in addition to that, I'm glad to see this female doing better. She was wallowing in depression for a while, but I don't know, seems to be doing pretty okay right now. We'll take it. Up next, we have the Troll Grotto. Yeah, and we had 3 trolls in there, but pretty much the same story to a lesser degree. One of them started going berserk, killed the surrounding trolls, and just died, so yeah, complete failure. Moving on over this way here, you can see an Ohm Man. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, it's not really an animal at all. It's a fully intelligent humanoid creature, just like one of our dwarves, really. But we caught the bastard skulking around, and we thought it might make a nice attraction. And it has. Really quite an agreeable fellow. It's interesting to think about him conversing with the dwarves out in the meeting hall. He's got nothing better to do. Sorry, dude. You're fun to look at. But something even funner to look at is our big boy up to the north here. Yeah, on this side of the meeting hall, we have in this pen a Cyclops. Its name is Melbil Rurkerzest That Lemol. And it attacked us not that long ago. It was then caught in a cage trap topside, and I figured, what the hell, we might as well get it down in a pen as well. And so, here it is. And it has not been doing very well, actually. Unfortunately, after we put him in here, he was panicking for a while, and then he was stricken with melancholy. And these days, he doesn't really do much at all. Kind of lays around, depressed. Won't even touch this pig we put in there for him. You know, we give you this nice little pen here, a place in which you can rest and relax for the rest of your days, and this is how you treat us. You can't even put on a nice show. Nah, oh well. A damn shame, but there's not much we can do about it, unfortunately. Yes, sir, an impressive beast indeed. A gift from the bobcat. But that Cyclops isn't the only gift given by our bobcat protector. No. Because over to the left here, you can see Luthspishab Zillardes. A giant. Isn't that exciting? Actually, we were attacked by the giant before the Cyclops. The thing clumsily stumbled into one of our cage traps, and here it is. You can see they both have very large pens with their own personal security caverns in the back, but unfortunately we can't let them run around lest the dwarves go out of their minds with fear, and so they are restrained with these tiny pigtail ropes. Apparently that's enough to restrain one of these bastards. Whatever makes the dwarves feel safe, I guess. Oh, and you know what? Before I forget, I'm gonna head back down to our old man here. And really, I was kind of being facetious earlier. An old man is kind of boring. All chained up, just kind of standing here. Yeah, that's fairly dull. But this is no ordinary old man. No. This is a were-lizard. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, the thing tried attacking us a while ago, but we just ended up closing the gate, and it just kind of wandered around out there for a while before getting caught in a cage trap. Easy as that. Oh, and you know something else I forgot to mention? Is that both the Cyclops and the Giant are were-lizards as well. That's something, right? After we caught that were-lizard down there, well, I had that Cyclops up in one of those pens on the surface earlier, and I was just going to use it on sieges, but I came up with a little method to release that were-lizard into the giant cage, and when I did, it went after the giant like a little pit bull. It grabbed it by its head and just kind of shook it around like an animal, and then I did the same exact thing with the Cyclops. Really super easy. I'm pretty curious what these things could do to a siege, although you would have to be perfect on that timing. Giants and Cyclops aren't that big of a threat, really, and so they would have to be were-lizards in order to do much of anything, I think. Well, it looks like the giant is throwing a tantrum. Guess I couldn't blame him. Starting to lose his grip on reality, I think. Bound to happen. Anywho, so yeah, that's our new meeting hall and our animal pens. I hope you enjoyed it. But now we have to get on to business. Business involving our jabberers. And if we shift our focus over this way towards our jabberer pen, you will notice that there are no jabberers in here. Really kind of stinks to see it empty like this, but, you know, things just couldn't continue on like they were. It just wasn't working out. I mean, you guys saw it before. Yeah. It's a damn shame. But onwards and upwards, my bearded bastards. How could we possibly think to use such a dingy, tiny room to train our glorious army of war jabberers? That just wouldn't do. Yeah, you can see we have a nice mural on the floor here, and we are just about ready to christen the room. Let's do it. Come on out, jabberers. And there they come, a couple hatchlings at first. And there's the rest of them. Trying to figure out how many we have at this point. It's kind of astounding. I think there's 12 hatchlings at this point, and might be 42 war jabberers. All fully tamed too, like 100%. No worries on that. Things were a bit touch and go at first. I was getting really frustrated with them laying their eggs. It seems like sometimes they would lay eggs and the eggs just wouldn't be fertile for some reason. And so I'd wait and wait and wait for them to hatch. And then after 3 months, which is how long it takes for eggs to hatch. Every egg in Dwarf Fortress takes 3 months. After 3 months, they still wouldn't be hatched, so I'd have to get rid of the nest box, rebuild it. It was really kind of a pain. But eventually things really started picking up, and here we are. Jabberers all over the place. And I think we're now finally ready to put them to the test. I don't think we could be any more ready, really. Although we do have ourselves a little bit of a problem, because as I said earlier, we have not seen a single siege pop up this entire time. The fortress has been here now for more than 10 years, and they definitely should have attacked us by now, but we've seen nothing. Doesn't really make a lot of sense, so I think we're gonna have to start stirring up a little bit of trouble. We have to if we're ever gonna test these things. I was thinking about possibly testing them out on Forgotten Beasts, but I don't think that'd be smart. No, I would much prefer to see these jabberers going up against some goblins. To start anyways. And so now we just have to take a look at the world map and see which groups are near us. I'm actually not too certain. Well, here's our fortress, tucked away in this little nook of the Beak of Land. That's the name of this mountain range. And then just down to the south over this way, it is actually a little far away, we have a goblin pit belonging to the Scourge of Meanness. And oddly, right at the time being, we are at peace with them, which is kinda strange. I don't recall ever having a dwarven fortress that was at peace with a goblin civilization, but I could be wrong on that. Regardless, the time has come for war. Who would like to go on a little mission? Anybody? Anybody at all? Aha. How about you, Moses? I've been hearing you grumble an awful lot lately, and I think it might be for the best if you left the fortress a little bit. Stretched your legs, perhaps. It's much needed, I'd say. And whenever you're done collecting all your gear, you can head straight up to the surface and head out to the goblins. Okay, and there he goes, finally. Good luck, Moses. We're counting on you, you brave dwarf. Make sure to rile him up good now. And now that Moses is gone and we're waiting for those goblins to show up, it is time for us to wait. No, I'm actually, just kidding. I'm a little sick of waiting around at this point. And so let's quickly go over what we're going to do when those goblins show up. Now then, if you have a look right here, we kind of have a revamped form of our former war dog pen. Remember how this rectangular chamber over here was once a war dog pen? And, well, it seemed to work fairly okay. Remember that spider did pass in front of it, and all the war dogs saw it, but they failed miserably in their task to destroy it. Well, I figured we'd try out the same thing, pretty much. I have this wedge-shaped chamber here, so that, hopefully, right as soon as any goblins pass down this corridor here, all of the jabberers will be able to see them. Now, whether they'll come out and actually attack the goblins, I'm not going to place any bets on it. Honestly, I'm not feeling very positive about this whole war jabberer thing. I just want to see how good they can be. I'd like to keep my hopes up, but I just don't think it's going to be very good. But who's to say for sure? That's why we're testing it out. Back up here in our jabberer pen, I will note that I left most of the females and a couple of males in this room, just to assure future sustainability. And as you can see, all of the nest boxes that we just put in place now have eggs in them. There's about 25 of them too. Not sure how many of them will hatch, but enough, definitely. Yeah, from here on out, we should have no problem getting more jabberers. Finally. You know, just realized how far into the episode we are right now, and even if the goblins did show up this very moment, we wouldn't have an appropriate amount of time to show off a siege. And so I think we're just going to save that for next episode. And before you go, saying it, I still do intend to make Fangmountain here a short fort. Next episode will be the last episode of this fortress, and then we're moving on. And come next episode, we will hopefully finally be able to see whether or not a jabberer-based defense is worth screaming about. And who the hell knows? Maybe we could figure out some other sort of trap as well. That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it? Anyways, you bearded bastards, I want to thank you for joining me here today. You know, I always say the same exact things every single episode, but I really do want you to know that I truly enjoy entertaining you. And I am so happy that you join me here every week. Truly, 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 from the bottom of my heart, you guys mean the world to me. And so once again, thank you. And I certainly hope you'll join me next time here in Chisenhal Barrel for Fangmountain, the Bastion of Beasts. And until next time, you bearded bastards,